Hello, hello, hello. Hi, everyone. It is Ayisha of Envision Creative Art. And I just wanted to take some time today to share a little bit more about me and my background and how I actually came around to starting this marketing firm. For some of you who may know, I am a self taught graphic designer. And I've also been a marketer for over 6 years. I went to school for marketing, actually, specifically fashion marketing. And then I kind of fell into graphic design by default. And I'll share that story with you. I remember graduating from the Fashion Institute of Technology and being presented with the opportunity um, to work with this company. It was a job posting. And the job posting was for this marketing coordinator, and they wanted some form of experience, graphic design experience. And at the time, I had no clue what I was doing. I didn't know anything about graphic design. I never did anything in Photoshop. I said, you know what? I'm going to apply for this job and we'll see what happens. So, of course, I applied for the job. I interviewed with the vice president of the company, and she was really impressed not only with my academical background, but just with my personality. We vibed really well. She offered me the position. So I was like, yeah, fingers crossed, I'm in, I can prove myself. And I remember starting, and literally like that first week, I met the person who I was going to be reporting to, the marketing executive. And she definitely reminded me of that character from Devil Wears Prada. I think her name was Miranda, like very stoic, not welcoming at all, serious, didn't have much to say. I remember her sitting down with me and saying, listen, you tell me what you know about design. What does this do? And tell me what these different tools do. And I remember trying to be very vague in my answers, be like, well, Photoshop works to correct images and tools do different things. And I remember her getting really upset and storming down the hallway and saying, this girl has no clue. She's never designed. She lied on her resume. She lied in her interview. She does not deserve to be here. And I remember sitting at my desk because it was like an open space type of office, so everyone heard her, and feeling embarrassed, but vowing to myself that, you know what, I'm going to do whatever it takes to learn Photoshop, to learn graphic design, so that I could earn my right in that company. And that's exactly what I did. And I remember it wasn't no more than maybe 3 or 4 months that not only did I master the skill of graphic design, as she kept assigning projects. I kind of think she maybe assigned them just to see if I would fail. But what actually ended up happening, things kind of shifted in the company and I got her position. So by the age of 21, I became the chief marketing executive officer for that private cashmere designer. So that was just a little story of how I actually was introduced into the world of graphic design. But I wanted to more so share with you my journey so far into, becoming my own boss and becoming an entrepreneur and some of the challenges and struggles that I deal with. I knew that the biggest struggle is with corporate America. I lacked that independence and flexibility that I really wanted with being a mother of 2 children. Oftentimes, as women, we feel the need that we always have to prove ourselves when working in a job. We can't use the excuse of, oh, my kid is sick, or, my kid has a play, because then it comes off as if we're not qualified to be there, or we have all these other excuses, so people don't take us seriously when we're in professional roles. So I remember battling with that a lot and really always getting anxiety with the fact of, oh my God, my child has a fever. What do? I don't want to call out because then it's going to look bad. But in addition to that, I felt as if I wasn't fulfilling a purpose. I was sitting behind a desk, I was making someone else rich, and I wasn't impacting the lives of anyone for the most part. It was just that mundane day-to-day routine. And I was tired of trying to climb that corporate ladder. I got to a point where I would apply for a job. If I got lucky, I would get the salary that I was seeking, but I would always kind of plateau. I would get to the point where there was no more opportunity for growth for a woman as though we're in, 2019 now, it's still challenging to kind of break through that glass ceiling as it's still very male dominated. And I realized, okay, there's something else. There must be something else that I can do to not only fulfill my purpose, but also just gain more value and feel as if I'm really giving back to not only the community, but just to women in general. And I thought about some other things that I knew I really wanted to achieve. I thought about just having that stability of making my own income and not having to ask someone else's permission on whether or not I was deserving of a raise. And that is what really inspired me to get started with learning, with pursuing my own business per se. So you know how it is when you first decide to, okay, I'm going to do this, you always run into some form of challenge or some problem. My biggest problem was not knowing where to start. Being a product of a single parent household, I remember my mother always going to work. That's all I knew. There was no one around me who was a business owner in business. I assumed that in order for you to even have your own business, you just had to be rich. Only rich people had their own business. So for me, I really lacked that guidance on where to start, who to contact, what resources were available to me so that I could really jump confidently into the role of becoming my business owner. And I struggled with that for a while, but it wasn't until I actually was invited to speak to a group of young girls and I made the decision to be transparent with them and really share with them my journey, some of the struggles and how I overcome those struggles. It wasn't until that point that I realized that I actually had something on my hands. Because I remember talking to them about, financing myself through college and being able to just grow as a professional and establish these various positions in corporate America. And I remember getting really positive feedback. Girls would come over after my presentation and be like, "Oh, Miss Ayisha, you inspire me. I'd love to be like you. And I'm thinking about starting this business. Can you tell me what you think?" Or, "I started a t-shirt line. Can you take a look and tell me what you think?" And then I would always get into these situations where I would have these young entrepreneurs, at the time, primarily students, who really valued my opinion, not only from, the standpoint of someone who shared similar starts, like a similar background with them, but also from the perspective of me being a marketing professional and them really just valuing my feedback. And that allowed me to really start thinking about, okay, Ayisha, you can really take this show on the road. You may have something on your hands. People are valuing what you have to offer as far as your opinion and your perspective with their business. So I figured, okay, how do I start? What's the first step into actually establishing this and really doing it? You know what I mean? And I will be honest, it took a while. I kind of stayed in the safe zone as a freelance graphic designer for a very long time. And it wasn't until I heard the words, "I want to hire your company," that I actually finally got it. Because at the time, I'm like, what company? I just do this on the side because I enjoy doing it. I love sharing, my feedback. I love seeing other people grow. I love helping someone bring their idea to life. But it wasn't until someone actually came to me and told me, "I want to hire your company," that I realized, okay, now it's time. Now it's time to jump, and now it's time to get past the self-doubt, get past the frustration, and of trying to figure out how to actually how to start the whole process, and just really believing myself and finding the value in what I had to offer. And it wasn't an easy road, I'll tell you that, because as any entrepreneur, it's a learning process, right? It's a process of, one, finding where you fit in, where you can differentiate yourself in the marketplace, and then surrounding yourself with people who not only speak the same language as you do, not necessarily from an industry standpoint, but more so from the standpoint of being a new business owner and the frustrations or the struggles or challenges that come along with that. As I'm not sure if any of you have experienced this, but entrepreneurship can be very lonely, especially when you're just starting out. Your family, they may not be fully supportive because they just don't really understand what it is that you're doing, or how you're doing what you're doing. So they try to be supportive, like, oh, that sounds good, but you kind of lose them after like the first 10 minutes of you like sharing this new epiphany or this new dream or this new idea that you have. And then I remember learning that, okay, I can't find the support that I need, I will say, in my immediate circle, as far as like families, because though they loved me tremendously and wanted to be supportive, there just wasn't that full connection. And I realized I needed to find a community of like-minded individuals who either been where I was at the time, or were actually in the same position, and we could actually support each other, share resources, and just motivate each other to keep going. And that was, I think, one of the biggest transitions that I had in me becoming confident and comfortable as an entrepreneur, finding my tribe, or I would like to say finding my network, finding other women, finding other men, just other people in the industry who we could just really support each other. And I think if you are just starting out in your business or thinking about starting a business, don't be afraid to invest in networking groups, accountability groups. They have some business professional groups, I know, in the local Maryland and Baltimore area, where you just get to meet with people. It may only be once a month, or maybe even once a quarter, but definitely don't underestimate that time where you have the opportunity to pick the minds of other experienced professionals, see what struggles they have and what lessons they learned that you can apply to your business. And I believe that once I made the decision to be okay with venturing outside of my comfort zone and sharing my ideas and sharing my thoughts with other professionals, that definitely helped me actually catapult my business and take it to the next level. Especially when I was having those moments of just wanting to throw in the towel, because I think we've all been there, where it's like, you know what, this is hard. This is a lot of work. It's frustrating. You to have, a client that, isn't paying on time, or you have a staff member that just can't get the bigger vision, or it's just different things. Like, it's just a constant juggling act, I'll say, and just kind of staying strong and sticking with it. I think that really helped me in like finding the motivation that I needed internally to be like, okay, this is what I want for myself, right? So I started my business in 2017, September of 2017. Again, as I mentioned, I had no clue really where to start. I had an idea of what I wanted to do, but it was just like taking it one step at a time. So by December of 2017, I made $435. That was it. To me, I was like, okay, that's not bad. It's a new business, that's okay. And I remember looking at 2018 as, what, this is just time to plan, take your time, get established, do your research, do your training, and like just really prepare yourself so that you're ready to venture out in this world and start this business. And I will say, like, maybe January, February, that worked. But by March, things started happening, and they started happening extremely fast. Like, I wasn't prepared. I'm thinking by March, April, I'm still just kind of getting in the motion of being established. But I was able to grow my clientele base from 10 clients to over 40 clients. In addition to that, I grossed $425 at the end of 2017. I was able to gross over $20,000 by the end of 2018. And I say that confidently. I know for some people, they make that in a week or a month. But for me, that was a validation that I knew I needed to say, okay, this is what you need to be doing. This is what the long hours and, the heartache, in a sense, when you kind of get frustrated. And this is what's going to help you motivate, not necessarily because it's so financially driven and it's all about finances, but now it's like the proof in the pudding that you've been waiting for, that, okay, I have this idea and this is an amazing idea. So what was the transformation for me based on, like, my first official full year of business was the fact that I was able to find the value in myself. I no longer dealt with the battle of self-doubt. And of course, I'm human. There's some times where that little voice still kind of gets inside my head and, questions of thought. Can you really do this? Do you think you can really handle this? But for the most part, believing in myself, valuing my time, valuing what I'm actually providing clients. Having a 90% return rate is awesome. You know what I mean? When you take the time to actually invest in the quality of service, the experience that you're actually creating for the clients, the proof is in the pudding, whether it's through your finances that you're actually seeing it, whether it's through the referrals, but ultimately what the client is actually saying about you. Because for me so far, I've not really invested that much in digital advertising. I think digital advertising is a great platform for you to use to your benefit so that you can draw in a specific or targeted audience. But for the most part, it's the experience that you're creating and having a client give you the referral of a lifetime. That's where I really feel as if, you really see the value in the business and the value that you actually present to the world. And ultimately, I think I like to tell people I became confident in becoming my own hero. I no longer had to wait for someone else to feel as if I deserved a raise to actually get one. I know now that whatever it is that I seek to manifest, whether it's revenue goals, whether it's just personal achievements, just advancement professionally, growth in my business, I have all the tools and resources within me to be able to do that as long as I put my mind to it, and I believe I can, and speak it into existence. So I just kind of wanted to share that with you today. I'm actually in the process of venturing out of my comfort zone, being more present online through platforms like Facebook Live. And I'll be just sharing a little bit more information here, there about me, tips on how you can build your brand, and honestly, just being transparent about some of the things that I've experienced, as it may be helpful to you in your journey as well. So thank you so much for taking the time to tune in. I hope you check out this video later, and I hope you enjoyed it. See you soon.